Mm.
No. So welcome everybody. My name is Penny Kroll. I'm a mental health master trainer, and I do various other modalities, but this interview is not about me, and I'm really excited. I'm slightly nervous because today I'm interviewing an expert on the teeth, and I'm slightly nervous because I've had a thing about my teeth for 8 years. So without further ado, I'm going to invite you to, or introduce you all to Dorte Bregaard. Now, Dorte, can you just say your name in Danish because it sounds
Yes.
so exciting?
In Danish, it is called Dorte Bregaard.
Yes.
But it sounds so harsh.
And you are definitely not a harsh lady. So, darling, I'm so excited because I've read your book, Teeth Don't Lie, and I just loved it. It's just fabulous. However, I'm so curious because before we came on this recording, I said to you, you're a dentist. And your words were, and what did you say?
Yes, I'm not a dentist anymore.
And why do you say that now? I love this.
Yes. Today I call myself a specialist in dental health. I worked as a dentist for 25 years. But I found out that sugar doesn't cause decay. And I found out that toothbrushing doesn't really matter. And I was in the beginning, when I was a dentist, I was very excited, but then I was very frustrated within a very short time because I couldn't explain why people had decay as they did. The cavities came one here and one there, and not always the hardest teeth to brush. So I was observing, and I couldn't find the logic. And when I had been a dentist for 10 years, I suddenly had 2 cavities of my own. And I had always had very good teeth, and I hadn't changed my brushing habits nor my sugar habits. So why I suddenly had the 2 cavities, I couldn't explain. But then I knew I had to find the answers. And then one day I had a new friend, and he was astrologist, and he told me then that when you bite your tongue instead of biting back, then you have the trouble with your teeth. And when he said that, everything fell into place in my mind, because when I had the cavities, I really wanted to divorce my husband. But in my family, it was, you could read between the lines that it's not okay to get a divorce. So,
Wow.
I kind of bit my teeth and, bit my tongue.
Yeah, how fascinating. And then did you see that more and more did you start by questioning your clients or your patients or?
Yes, then when I had the thought and the wisdom, then I wanted to investigate, and I started asking my patients, and I found this pattern. And some of them they thought it was interesting to find the feelings behind the diseases, but actually most of them they just wanted their teeth to be fixed.
Yeah, and I think this is we've been so, what I call, domesticated into believing that there is only one way to
Yes.
actually resolve anything, even your teeth.
Yes. And normally we don't take responsibility for the teeth. It's like, oh, my teeth, I don't know what's wrong with them. The dentist knows.
Yeah.
Right. So we are not we are not familiar with actually addressing our teeth in that way.
And it really fascinates me because my parents put the fear, and I'm talking about the fear of God about my teeth. I had to brush because both of my parents had false teeth when we were very young.
Yes.
And I was made to wear a brace. And I will make you laugh. Can I share you this story, my own personal story? Because when I was little, my mouth is really small, but I've only found that out in the last few years. I know I've got a big, large voice, but my mouth is small. So they made me wear braces because my teeth wouldn't fit into my mouth.
Yes.
And then I had to go to a dental hospital, and the dentist said to me, "You're like a sheep. Your teeth just come through." So for 20 years, I believed that, Dorte.
Oh.
I just because he was a dentist and he wore a white coat, I used to say to people, "Oh, my teeth used to just keep on growing."
Yes.
Nobody said to me any other, there's not another solution. You just get them pulled out, wear a brace, make them fit your mouth.
Yes. So it's a long way to get enlightened. Yes.
And also the teeth fascinate me because they're different bones than the rest of our skeleton, aren't they?
Yes.
And do you think, I know this, I'm sort of jumping ahead there, but have you actually seen people heal the cavities without the amalgam, without the white fillings?
Yes. And the periodontal diseases, I have seen that heal within no time.
And is there any tips that you can advise people? Because again, in England, we have toothpaste after toothpaste after toothpaste. I mean, we have now shelves of toothpaste.
Yes.
You can get them whitened, you can make them stronger. The enamel we're conditioned and we're told that the enamel is the first thing that will dissolve.
Yes, but every disease comes from within. And the plain answer is it's all about communication. And if you want to communicate something, if you get angry or frustrated or sad, you have to let the words out. Because if you don't let the energy out, if you suppress it, where does the energy go? It goes within, and it is used for decay. So it actually takes a lot of energy to break down the bone and the teeth. So, and all the energy, it comes from what you don't say. So it's very simple in theory.
I know, we're both laughing now because the theory is just so beautiful, and you really explain it beautifully in your book. And I have another personal question. So this is really for Dorte, but it's really for me as well because I love learning. And everybody always asks me about the wisdom teeth.
Yes.
And what is your take on the wisdom teeth? What is your understanding?
I really don't know a lot about wisdom teeth. But I know that they are meant to be there because the body uses energy for 8 to 10 years to create this tooth. So it's not created for just to be pulled out. And if you have problems with your wisdom teeth, it's because you have you're afraid, you're scared of the future. You're troubled about the future.
Oh, I love that. And that makes so much sense for one of my clients.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Yes.
that just makes so much sense because I've been asking and asking, and I've studied Weston Price's books and his website, and I love him. And I've gone to, not obviously because he's not around anymore, but his students' talks, and I just find our body with that innate wisdom to heal is just incredible. It's extraordinary.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And Dorothy, what do you want? What because I'd love to invite you to come and do a workshop in the UK. Would you be interested in doing that?
Of course. I love that. Yes. I really want to spread this wisdom around the world because um, nobody loves to go to the dentist, do they?
No.
I think it's, the more I think about it, I think it's actually torture. It's like torture, and then they tell you it's for your own best.
I've questioned a lot of my clients about this, and so many of them, when they were children, have been held down,
Yes,
put gas over their face.
yes,
I always had the gas, and always I'd be ill after it. It was just, I used to just I'd leave my body before I went to the dentist
yes,
because it was just so horrendous for me.
yes.
And then they would give me a sweetie when I left.
Yes. What else would they give you?
Yeah, what else would they give you? And it's so interesting that you say that sugar does not cause decay. And I think it's from where I'm coming from. I look at the mind, the body, what we put in our bodies, and I still eat sugar. And
Yes.
sometimes I don't, and I can go for months without sugar. But I know that the sugar hasn't had any effect on my teeth.
No.
I
And
know.
and when they and when they search, when they make studies of decay and how much sugar people eat, they can find no correlation at all.
Yeah.
The only way they can find it is when they in the laboratory, when they use rats and sugar and bacteria, and
Yeah.
and then they say there's evidence that sugar causes decay. No, if there was evidence, then we could see it on the teeth, on people.
I find this so interesting when they say about these laboratory tests. And my question is, but surely the animals will be traumatized because they're in a cage, they're getting fed food that they wouldn't naturally eat, they're not being allowed to run around, they're in a glass box,
Yes.
and they're not in their community. So that's going to create traumas. And the same people will say, but they're not like humans. So
Yeah.
why are you saying that we are like humans because you're doing tests on them to say
Yes.
that happens?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, I find that fascinating that they
Yes.
torture animals and then and say, oh, of course, look.
Yes. Breaks my heart.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think you're an animal person.
I am. I have 5 horses and 2 dogs and 2 cats. So
And and have you seen do you use your knowledge on your own animals? Because I use my knowledge with my cat.
yes, but actually not that much. But I compare. I have a very small dog, and she has periodontal disease.
Yeah, yeah.
And periodontal disease comes when you feel as a victim.
Ah,
And I know when you're a small dog, it must be very easy to feel as a victim, because if I want her to get into the car and she doesn't want to, then I just take her up and put her in.
Yeah.
So I compare. I compare her situation to people, and she has a lot of tartar. Is that the right word? Yes, and I believe that the tartar comes to actually make her keep her teeth,
Oh, now this is fascinating.
like protection.
Yeah, because that would make sense.
Yes, the vet says that the tartar causes the disease, but it doesn't in humans. So why on dogs?
No, and I don't know about Denmark, but I've just my little cat Layla. She had an abscess in her tooth, and so I took her to the vets, and they charged me £800 to clean her teeth and to give her antibiotics, which they didn't ask me because it's got all over her forms. Please speak to Penny before you start giving her anything, and they didn't, and I was I tapped on that. But £800.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my insurance company won't cover teeth for animals. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Yeah, I just so the teeth, the tartar, because again, I hear this from my clients, and I don't have an answer for them about how sometimes for years they haven't been to the dentist, and then suddenly they go, the teeth are fine, and then 3 months later they go back again and the tartar's built up.
Oh.
And I'm always curious of what is going on in the client's life that suddenly they went to the dentist.
Yes.
In the first place.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yes.
Yeah. And we are also fearful. I think it's the biggest fear that I've ever heard of is the dentist.
Yes. So I want to teach people how to know if they have healthy teeth, mm-hmm. or if they have diseases.
Yeah.
So we can be our own dentist.
I think this is fascinating. There's so many questions I want to ask you, and there's just not enough time. And this is a sales pitch, guys. Go and buy this book, The Teeth Don't Lie. It's so easy to read. You've made it so easy, Dorte. I love the fact that it's so easy, and you can really understand and start. Well, I think there's so much more to learn than the book, but this is a great starting point. And Dorte, is there anything you would like to add? Because I've taken over this interview, because I could question you for another 3 days.
No, I cannot think of anything. So
I think that the knowledge you have, and this is so important, and I'd love you to come over and meet my dentist, because we have debates about everything. Yes. And because sometimes people will think, well, Penny, which university did you go to? And I say, I didn't go to a university. And they go, mm-hmm. Well, I studied for 7 years. 7 years as a dentist.
As a dentist?
Yeah. He does plastic. He does. I don't think you call it plastic surgery. But he does all different types of in the mouth. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Dorte, thank you so much for today's very short interview. Yeah. It's been a pleasure, and I've learned just quite a little bit, and it will help my clients. So I'm going to thank you on behalf of my clients, and I hope to speak to you soon and do more little interviews with you, and invite you to come to the UK.
Yes, I love that.
All right. Thank you so
Anytime.
much.
And thank you.